at that point, I already made my decision, but it's like, I feel sometimes people are just like, they're so comfortable in the
Yeah.
relationship, even good or bad, like they don't even realize that someone's going to have the courage to leave.
Welcome to Honest Feedback, the podcast where deep truth meets bold transformation. We've created this podcast for spirit-led individuals just like you.
Seekers of truth, personal growth, and meaningful connection. Whether you're navigating life's big questions, craving more joy and fulfillment, or simply looking for honest, relatable conversations, you're in the right place.
Through personal stories, actionable advice, and transformative insights, our ultimate goal is to empower you to create a life that's overflowing with pleasure, purpose, and authenticity.
We know you're capable of incredible things, so let's make it happen together.
Welcome back to another episode of Honest Feedback Podcast. We are so happy to be here with you today, and we're going to be talking about transitions.
Yeah.
Like those big life ones.
Ooh, the big scary ones.
The scary ones, relationship, career.
You know, when you're like you're stuck in something for about, a decade or 7. And you need to move on.
Who's been there?
Yeah.
Transitions can feel so intense, and sometimes you're like, I just don't know what to do, or you know that you need to leave. You know you need to leave.
Get out.
But you're afraid to leave. I've been there. I've been afraid to leave all sorts of situations. And then I'm just like, oh gosh, did something happen? Did I get fired? Great. They've made the decision for me.
Yeah.
But I'm so happy that we have a fucking incredible guest with us today. Amy Shepard. Not only is she a fucking badass, and one of our good friends, she is a wellness architect, and she holds people's hands and supports them and guides them through when they're going through major life transition. She has walked the gamut, y'all. She has been in the fire.
She's seen some shit.
She has seen some shit many times and been able to create a life that she wants on purpose and full of joy. So I'm so happy to have her on as we dive into an incredible listener question.
Yeah, but first, hit that like, subscribe, share button, share this with a friend, help us get this podcast far and wide, and let's give her a ring.
Great.
Hi, Amy.
Hi, Brittany and Lisette.
We are so happy to have you on the podcast. This has been, I feel like, a long time brewing. Not only are we friends, but we have bore witness to the amazingness, the boldness of you literally just taking charge of your life. And it has been such an honor to watch, so inspiring to witness and be a part of. And like, we are so happy to have you on the show.
Oh, thank you so much for your kind words. I'm so honored to be here and in the presence of you ladies. I'm so excited.
Yeah. Well, as always, we just kind of want to start with a little bit about you. How do you serve in the world?
Great question. So I am a wellness architect, and I serve by helping people through transitions in their life, going from stuck, and if they have an aspiration in their life, and going through all of the transformation required, and as a guide and as a leader through this transition. I've done so many transitions in my life, and all I ever wanted was someone to be by my side, and basically just designing their wellness in a holistic way to live an optimal, fulfilled life.
Whoa, I mean,
Just that.
casual. Are you guys hearing this? Wow, I so resonate as someone who's also been through a lot of transitions. You're like, is there a guide here? Is there? Listen,
Am I gonna be okay?
am I gonna be?
What do I do with my hands?
Well, I mean, us knowing you, we know a bit about your story, and so I know that like becoming a wellness architect, leading people through transitions, being a guide, these are all things that are like deeply personal to you and from your story. And so like, could you share with people like, what is your story? What even led you to become a wellness architect? Where did it start for you? What kind of transition?
Oh man. Back when I was 1 year old. No, just kidding.
In the beginning.
Let's start from the beginning. How long is the show? No, I say I'll try to do a bullet point version, but essentially I had trauma in my childhood and spoke about that trauma to my family, and it was basically pushed under the rug, and I lost my best friend and essentially lost my voice. That I was shown that my voice didn't matter and that speaking up for myself caused me to lose everything. And so I began from a very young age of repressing all of me, essentially, because if I speak, that means there's a need, there's a desire, there's a want, there's something that I have to speak. And if I can't speak it because no one's going to listen or they're going to ignore it, then I'll just better off just doing what other people want to do. And so I became a perpetual people pleaser.
Oof.
And looking for validation and acknowledgement any way that I could get it. And working through college, getting my master's degree in architecture, getting married, having the big old fancy wedding, buying the house, white picket fence, all the things you're quote unquote supposed to do. And then just found myself absolutely miserable. I was angry. I was I had terrible health. My like nutritional gut microbiome was a disaster. Anything I ate, I was bloated. Like I looked like I was 6 months pregnant. I had awful sleep. I was just always on edge and I never really understood it. And I was like, why am I angry all the time? Why am I this way or that way? And it's like I have everything I'm supposed to want and need, but yet here I am. And I didn't know any way out. I just felt literally stuck. I felt trapped. And I saw other people have an amazing life. They were happy. They were like, or they were seemingly happy. Like they had the dream vacations. They had the amazing, beautiful, loving like relationship. And it was like, oh my God, I want that. Like why, like I'm supposed to have that. I'm technically in it right now, but yet I'm not, and and so basically I got divorced and then my life began. And it was like when I was at my loneliest low point, I was 100 times happier than when I was married.
Mm.
And it's like, I would much rather be here than to be with him. And so it was kind of like, it literally felt like I was an infant at 32 years old when I got divorced. I was an infant. I literally had to learn how to do absolutely everything because now it was I. There was no we.
Yeah.
There was I. What do I want for dinner? How do I make this dish?
Yeah.
Like all of the like empowering things. It's like if you don't know yourself, if you've been people pleasing your entire life,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh shit, like I don't know anything about myself. And that's where I was like, I desperately want someone that has been on this journey, that knows how I'm feeling and knows like it can get better. It will get better. And so I went on a 10-year journey of self-discovery. And I went through like 21 modalities, therapy, Reiki therapy, like NLP, neuro-linguistic programming with your beautiful self, Lisette, like EMDR therapy, like you name it, I did it. And it was kind of like me trying my best to get to where I wanted to go, which I didn't really know where I wanted to go. I just knew that I wanted to grow. I wanted to be happier and I wanted to live a fulfilling, like kick-ass life and be like vibrant and like play like a kid again, and that's all I wanted was to have like an amazing life. And so that's really, it went from that horrible place to clawing my way through all of these modalities and tons and tons and tons of personal growth work, thousands of dollars, all the things, all like I don't know how many journals I filled up. Like, but all of the people, all of the healers, all of the professionals that were working with me, like I owe my life to them. And it was the most beautiful journey. And I'm so, so grateful for it. And I feel like I was meant to go through this and learn it and embody it so that I can help others because it's been so deeply nourishing. And now that I'm on the other side and living my dream life, it's like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm here. And it's been like over a decade. So it's like my greatest like pleasure and my greatest dream. And I just feel so excited to be able to help other people through this exact thing. Because I know there's so many people that are quote unquote in the right place. They followed all the rules, but they're miserable and
Yes.
they want a better life, but they don't know that maybe they don't think that they deserve it. That was the other thing. It's like, oh, well, that's great for them. But it's like, no, you can have it too.
Yes.
If I could have it when I was back, like you can have it too, you know?
Oh,
So
that's such a beautiful story. Like I know it intimately, right? I know your story. And I think one of the most beautiful things is I would love for you to share even deeper about how did you know you were in this marriage, right? That where you were
yeah.
unhappy. What for you was the breaking point? What for you was the moment that was like, I can't do this anymore? Or you just felt so trapped. You're like, this is it feels almost like life or death, you know? Like, how did you know you needed out of that? And how did you go about that?
Mm. Okay, so many things. Let's see here. Well, it's interesting because we were together for 7 years. We dated through college and um we got married and we got married in October and then went on our honeymoon in February. And on our honeymoon, something changed. And I knew it deep in my gut. I'm like, something is different. And because I didn't know myself, because I didn't have a voice,
Mm,
because I didn't know what I needed or wanted or desired, I probably saw signs that I didn't even realize were signs in the 7 years we were together.
yeah.
But they became more and more obvious after we got married. And then it just got worse and worse and worse with him verbally abusing me.
Mm,
And I didn't know about the love languages and like words of affirmation and physical touch are my top two. And he was verbally abusive and he never touched me.
mm.
Hey, I wonder if that's going to work out. No,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And so because I was with him all of my 20s, I never really explored my sexuality. I never really like knew about that either. Because I had the sexual trauma when I was a child and a man pursued me
Mhm.
in the relationship. And I was like so down in the dumps, like absolute at my lowest, lowest, lowest point. I'm just like, wait, you're looking at me? Like, oh, like no one ever looks at me. No one ever approaches me. No one ever like comes on to me. I'm like, oh. And it kind of just like shook me awake. And it was just like, I'm like, I had an intramarital affair.
Mhm.
And it was like, I had my first vaginal orgasm.
Mm. Mhm.
And it was like, that's what that is. That's what it's supposed to feel like. Oh my God, you know? And it was like, it literally woke me up. And I'm like, why am I settling for this jackass
Mhm.
when there's so many other people in the world?
Yeah.
And this showed me that that's a possibility.
Yeah.
And it was so crazy because I ended up like finding out that he had an affair 2 years earlier.
Mm.
And I saw signs, of course, of him like coming home late and like on a Wednesday calling in sick or whatever because they had kickball. And it was just like, something's strange. And of course, he never, said anything to me. But I, of course, with my detection skills, I figured it out and I busted his ass.
Yeah.
And I essentially caught him doing it. And I was like, this is my out, even though I had just done it.
Yeah.
But I was also on the verge of, suicide ideation. I had a few
Mhm.
attempts of it. And
Yeah.
it was like, it was literally my lowest, lowest point that I would never ever cheat on somebody. And I did. But
Mhm.
yet when I found out he had done it before, I was like, this is my out.
Yes. Yes.
Not the fact that I was severely unhappy. I thought when you say till death do you part,
Yeah.
it's literally till death do you part. And like, and I always said, I'm like, if you lay a hand on me, if you sleep with someone else, like I'm out. And I was like, this is my out, even though I did it, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, I was like, sweet, he did it. And then he admitted it. And at one point I was like, okay, we're actually clearing the air here. Like I busted him, he admitted it. It's like, hey, well, clearly you're unhappy. Clearly I'm unhappy. Like, let's do something about it, right?
Mhm.
And thinking we're going to be on board. We're just going to go on like married couple, therapy or whatever. And he's just like, oh, no, no, no. He's like, you're the one that has the problem. You go to therapy.
Mm.
Mm.
I'm
Mm.
like, but clearly you're unhappy too, right? And he's like, yeah, well, I do what I want to do, And then he's like,
Mhm.
the thing that was the kicker for me is his lovely quote that I thank him to this day. I'm only human, and I won't ever guarantee that I won't do it again.
Mm.
Yeah.
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 It's like, thank you for your brutal honesty, that you're
Yeah.
not harming egotistical maniac saying like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'll never do it again. Like you were literally honest
Mhm.
and said, I'm only human and I can't guarantee I won't do it again.
Mhm.
Thank you. Thank you. I literally got up from the chair
Mhm.
and I'm like, peace the fuck out.
Yeah.
And that was like the easiest decision for me. And it's
Mm.
just like, I have no idea where I'm going to live. I have no idea what I'm going to do. I have no idea how I'm going to pay for anything. And I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I'd much rather not be with him and
Mm.
dealing with that egotistical, narcissistic bastard. It's just like, I mean, he did me a favor, right? He did
Yeah.
me a huge favor. And I'm so grateful. And it was just like the icing on the cake. And it's like, especially because I had my own like
Mhm.
extramarital affair, and that lit me up that there's a possibility outside of this marriage for a
Yeah.
better life.
Yeah.
That was like the little peak. That was like a little window
Mhm.
into like there's something better out there for me.
Yeah.
Can I ask you if you remember that moment when he said those things and you got the courage to be like, peace? Like, what did it feel like inside? Like, was based on how you're sharing about your story of like, I didn't have a voice, it kind of feels to me like this might be one of the first moments where you actually are like, I have a voice, I'm using it, I'm making a decision for myself.
Yeah.
Like, does that feel around true of like, this was maybe one of the first big decisions you made for you?
Yeah, yeah. Now that you say it, I remember that moment like extremely vividly. We were in the backyard, that patio that we created together, and yeah, I it was like it was like an inner knowing of I feel all of my stuff in my sacral,
Mm, mhm,
Mm.
or I'm sorry, my solar plexus,
mhm,
like
mhm,
right at the base of the rib cage, or I'm right at the top of the rib cage, I guess, on bottom of your breastbone. Like that's where I feel it. It's like that's like where my quote unquote gut is, and it's just like it was just this blaring alarm, like unavoidable, and it was like, "Hello, Amy, leave, ring, 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 leave, 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 leave." And it was just
Yeah.
like, this is now, you're free, you're free, you're free. Like it was so clear. It's like, oh, okay. Yep, I don't need to question that.
mm,
Yeah.
And maybe that's like where my spirituality began to like fester, or like, because I feel like I've probably always been very spiritually gifted, but I never knew because I never listened to it, or I, shut it down or ignored it for 30 some years. So
Wow.
I feel like, yeah, that definitely was the start of it. But then it was like how to nurture, it's like a little baby chick that just hatched. It's like, how do you like let it flourish and grow from that moment on? Because it's very vulnerable. It's kind of like fuzzy and it's all cute and like just innocent, and it needs tender, loving care. And it's like, okay, this is new. Even though you're 32, like this is new. Now you're gonna venture off and do your own little thing. And it's like it's a big world out there, right? It's like,
mhm.
ooh, okay, times are gonna change, and it's gonna be different, and it's gonna be scary and intimidating, but it's gonna be better than here
Mm,
Yeah.
because
yeah.
now I have control.
Yes. Oh.
And so it was very like exhilarating and empowering, and like I felt like Wonder Woman.
Yeah. I mean, you
I
sound
felt like
like Wonder
like
Woman.
it's just like, here's my cape, like peace out, brother. Like
Oh, I just feel like what you've touched on is so powerful, and thank you so much for just sharing so vulnerably about like the nuance of the experience. And I love your reflection on who you were and how you navigated that and where you were able to start to find like your center and your gifts and your own voice and like really honoring, like you said, like a newborn or a baby chick. Like sometimes we know it's the right thing to do. We do know that. And to do it and then be on the other side, it's like, oh God, I'm scared.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
Yes.
So, like, what were some of your few, like, your first steps outside to, like, try to get support? Like, I mean, you're a guide because you had guides and it seemed like there needed to be more of like a through line of guide. Like, what was your kind of first steps outside to try to find yourself?
Yeah, great question. So I feel like, I mean, I'm very detail oriented. I'm a former architect, so I have like I know exactly what I did, which was um calling everyone that I know that knew a lawyer.
Mm,
Mm.
And, I hired a lawyer. And then I also, and then, oh, when I found my lawyer, she had a mediator, who was also for divorced people, or, she's a divorce, a court appointed mediator. So she knew divorces very well. So I started doing therapy with her. And also she was helping me mediate the divorce. So it was like lawyer, then therapist, and then it was like, and then asking my network who had a place to rent because I needed a place to rent. And then I found a place to live. I moved out. Um, and then, yeah, I'm trying to think. But it was just like taking one day at a time and because it was like, and that therapist, she was amazing because she was like, okay, I have an assignment for you. Go to the grocery store and go to something that you've never eaten before and pick it up, put it in your shopping cart and buy it. Then go home and Google what it is, how to make it, and then you cook it and you eat it. And then you say, that was lovely. That was disgusting. Then you know what it is. And you made all of those micro decisions by yourself. And you
mm,
figured out how to survive, figure something out, how to cook it, enjoy it, and either decide whether you want to continue doing it or not. And it was like the simplest thing, but
mm.
it literally transformed my life because I took that one lesson into all of my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do I do this? Okay, let's try one thing. Try it, Google it, figure it out. Boom. It's just like rinse, recycle, and repeat. It's just like, okay, this is great. So it was like breaking all these massive, scary decisions into microscopic, little, everyday, okay, one little task at a time.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
And that really helped make things a lot easier through that time.
mm.
Yeah. I
That was like in the way beginning.
Yeah, I just love your story so much because obviously you you went from hometown, right? Like small town in, was it Wisconsin?
Wisconsin,
Yeah,
yes.
small town Wisconsin, and now you live in Puerto Vallarta, just like
I live
living
in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico.
I live in Puerto Vallarta. Yeah, like you followed all these tiny decisions over 10 years and you just kept following your heart and your
Mhm,
spirit and you
mhm.
allowed it to guide you to the spectacular life that you have. We get to see, we've gotten the honor to see what you live like in PV. And it's so spectacular. This is something that people need so much because that fear can
Mhm.
be so paralyzing.
So paralyzing.
Yes.
Well, I feel
Oh, yeah.
also I I selfishly just feel like you breaking this down. I'm like, oh, I totally see her genius. Like,
Yeah.
and you're detailed of like your steps and like how helpful that can be when everything just feels like it's up in the air and it's all crazy to have someone who can hold your hand and support you in a like step by step methodical way in order to like find your path. But I feel like this is a great place to bring in the question because it kind of all ties in. So we asked on the
Okay.
Instagram, and the question we got, which is so up your alley. Okay. Hi, I've been in a relationship for 20 years and I'm unhappy. There are so many things that just aren't right and aren't changing, but I'm afraid to end it. I don't know how to end it. In many ways, he's my best friend, and I've outgrown this relationship, and I want things that aren't possible here. How do I leave? I'm scared. Signed, Stuck.
Hmm.
And I love that your
This is
transformation leads people from Stuck. I was just like, oh my God.
Well, let me see here. Um, yes, no, great question. Thank you for sharing and asking the question. I feel like this one, not every situation is going to be the same because I don't think my relationship with my ex-husband I don't think he was my best friend. I think we were a relationship of convenience. We were roommates, essentially. And for someone that's been in a relationship for 20 years with their best friend, but knows that they are outgrowing the relationship, I would feel that first question I would ask is if they had a conversation with their significant other first.
Mhm.
First and foremost, have you had the discussion? And if not, having the butt puckering courage to just ask the question, hey, are you happy?
Yeah.
Like, are you happy here? Like, if you're not, and I'm not, like, are you willing to work at it with me? And if their answer was like my ex-husband was, it's a very clear answer.
Mhm.
And then you can decide, hey, they're not willing to work at it. They don't think that the relationship is worth us getting help.
Mhm.
Therefore, they don't respect me. And in my mind, I would much rather be respected. And having that be like a catapult to get you out. And yes, you've been together 20 years. Things are familiar. Things are divided probably equally. And sometimes I think people just are clueless in terms of I remember, oh my gosh, I remember my ex. He was super awkward in social events, and he would always rub the back of his head, and his right leg would go up, and he'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's interesting," and he would rub the back of his head. And it was such a weird thing that he always did. It drove me nuts. And he was just after I'm leaving, he's just he did that same thing. He's like, "You would rather be single than to be with me." You would rather be single than to be with me? And he just repeated it a million times. I'm like, dude, I would rather be single the rest of my life than to be with you.
Yeah.
I deadpan looked him in the eye and it was like, dude, this hasn't been fun. Newsflash. So it was just such a mind-blowing thing. And it's at that point, I already made my decision, but it's I feel sometimes people are just they're so comfortable in the relationship, even good or bad, they don't even realize that someone's going to have the courage to leave.
Yeah.
So even if you even as a tiptoe, if you didn't want to have a drastic exit like I did, maybe just go on a vacation with your girlfriends or stay at a family or friend's house for a couple weeks and see how your partner reacts with your absence. How many things do you do in the household that now you're not there? See if they miss you. You know what I mean? And then see if you miss them. If you leave the situation that you've been comfortable with for 20 years and you have that fear, how do you feel living somewhere else? How do they feel living somewhere else? And then come back and hopefully have the discussion. And if not, then it's hey, that was kind of nice. That was like a vacation. Huh? I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess I didn't miss you. You didn't miss me. Then it's easy. Adios. But it's kind of breaking that down of little steps of how you can just tiptoe out of it. And I would at least try to have the conversation first.
Yeah. I feel like
it'll just be easier.
You've shared just such beautiful feedback because I know I've been guilty of this too, of feeling scared to have the conversation that you need to have. And it's sometimes both people are avoiding it. And I remember, gosh, with my ex, he was a good person. There was literally nothing wrong. There was he was a good person. I just started to discover that I was just I just don't think this is it. And I remember one time I was sitting on the couch and I took a picture of him and I was like, this is not going to last much longer. I remember having that, thought, but also being terrified to have the conversation. And it wasn't until literally somewhere in my soul, like woke me up in the middle of the night, hysterically crying. And he was like, "What's wrong?" And it just all came out. I was like, "We have to break up. I'm not happy." I started talking to my ex. Da, 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 da. And I was just like, and it was like,
Mm.
the fear is what kept stopping me. And I really appreciate your encouragement of leaning into the eyes of like, are you happy? Because that really is the most powerful question. And
Yes.
sometimes we keep ourselves so busy
Mm.
that we're and
Yeah.
comfortable that
Yeah.
we
Yep.
won't sit with, oh my God, I'm actually not happy
Yeah.
in this
Yep.
relationship, in this city, in this whatever, all of it, and really being honest with ourselves.
Yeah, if I could speak into that,
Yeah.
I was in a relationship with my nesting partner, and we were together a little over 3 years, and it was in this moment where we started to feel the discord. I had already started dating Brittany, and like the contrast was so insane. Like I was just like, "Whoa, I'm so happy here, and I am just living life over here. I am just paying
Yeah.
rent over here, and I'm just going through the motions." And we were starting to have lots of fights and separation. And one day I just asked her straight out. I said, "Are you happy?" And she said, "No, I'm not." And for me, as much as that broke my heart, she was like, "Are you happy?" And I was like, "No, but I thought I could be. But the fact that you say you're not happy, like I love you enough to not keep doing this thing." And that was the beginning of the end. And something I want to speak to and ask you about is like, what do you do when you're in that, like, this the cohabitating?
Mm.
It's the like,
Yes.
this is my life. We've built so much together. We have this beautiful home and beautiful dogs and like, the dogs, like, like the
Oh,
separation of the
the
dogs.
girls.
Like
Yeah.
there's,
Oh.
yeah, like my ex had a dog and gosh, does he remember how much I love him? Like all the things that
Oh.
you go through
Yes.
in that separation, like how does one get the courage to keep going? Obviously, in that moment, I was fucking scared, but I knew I couldn't. It was like the happiness thing. Like, I love you enough to not stay with you because I want you to be happy. 'Cause- And
Mhm.
then I figured out life, but it's scary. So, how do you guide someone on that step of like, okay, I know I'm going to leave. I know this isn't working. What's a few steps we can give someone to move forward?
Yeah, great question. I mean, it's kind of similar to what I had shared about before, but I feel like hmm, I feel like it would be looking at yourself and digging down deep down, like what is it that I want? And I know a lot that's like the question everybody hates,
What do I want?
right? It's like, what do you want? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, like, is it a different environment? I feel like for me, when I had that experience, it's like, okay, I get to be single. I get to find a place that brings me joy.
Yeah,
I get to decorate it any way I want.
yeah,
I get to do whatever I want, whenever I want, with who I want.
yeah.
And it's like the ultimate freedom.
Mm.
But again, when you don't know yourself or when you've been a little codependent potentially with other
Mhm.
people, which is easy to do. I'm guilty of it. I
Yeah.
have that anxious attachment style and it's like that codependent. And then it's like once that goes away, you're like, ah! It's like you need that addiction, that adrenaline fix. And it's like, okay, it's not there anymore. Like I have to just shut it off and like be strong. But then it's like once you get to the other side and you're completely free, it's like, oh, I can do whatever the hell I want.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
You know? Okay. So like steps, I would say potentially like do something that brings you joy to get out of your head,
Mhm.
Hmm.
number
Mhm.
one.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
for me, I discovered through my process was going for a walk in
Yeah.
nature.
Yeah.
And I'm like looking at the beautiful birds. I'm looking at the flowers. I'm stopping to smell the flowers. And I'm just like, I'm going by water to see the water move. And it's just kind of like, then it just kind of comes to you,
Mhm.
and it's like, okay, that's a great first step, and then you do that, you honor that. Like you don't question it, you don't doubt it, you don't, oh, but what about this? What about that? Da, 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 da. And I'm totally guilty of, but it's like whatever comes, like trust that
Mm-hmm.
and go with it.
Mm. Yeah. This is so
And it's
beautiful.
like,
I feel you, like what I'm hearing you say is like the vision of you connecting to your future of like, I'm gonna get to be free is one of the main things that was your guiding light. And then following like, okay, joy came in. I'm gonna trust myself to follow that. Those are such beautiful steps to like start to move yourself even when you're scared.
yeah. And I know like financially is a big thing for people. Like, how am I going to afford rent? Like, tap into your network, tap into family, tap into cousins, tap into old coworkers, like, tap into anybody that you've connected with and say, hey, I'm in this situation.
Mm.
Do you got a spare bedroom? Are you looking for some income? Like, maybe I could give you a few $100 to stay in your place, not necessarily like move in 100%, but even just like as a transition, right? Like going from cohabitating to nothing and by yourself is a huge like shift, especially for someone like that's been 3 years, 20 years, 15 years, whatever. Like it's a massive shock to the system. And if you don't have a support system in place or don't know what you want, like yeah, it can be absolutely terrifying and financially like detrimental. Or you have to go to a not so safe part of town because that's what you can afford, or you have to move out of town, like whatever the barriers are,
Mhm.
like, try to do baby steps as much as possible. And um, that feels safe for you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. What I'm hearing you say,
everybody's different.
Mhm.
yeah, what I'm hearing you say is even through your journey is you found, even though you maybe in the moment didn't have the resources and stuff to do, like you got resourceful
Mhm.
with what you had.
Yes.
And I think
Yep.
that's sometimes people are blinded from their own resources
Mhm.
because they're so used to the codependency. Well, this person's always taking care of me, or we've taken care of each other. I
Mhm.
don't know how to. It's just like where there's one, there's many.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
if you're able to create a relationship with one person, you could create, there are people who love you and care about you. Like,
Mhm.
thank you. I just want to thank the caller,
Mhm.
the messenger about this is like, there are people who love you and care about you and just opening up and tapping those resources. Like, it is a time to get resourceful.
Mhm.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I mean that brings up a point because it's like when I was married, um, I had like racked up like $60,000 of student loan debt. And he's like, okay, now we're married. Like, let's like come up with a plan to figure out how to like tackle our debt. And he's like, oh, no, no, no. Your debt is your debt. My debt is my debt. And
Mhm.
I was like, okay, this feels fun and juicy. And really, I got butterflies in my stomach. This is so loving. So like, wow, this is what I signed up for. Shit.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I guess I'll continue working my 45 plus hour architecture job and I'll continue working more hours at Home Depot and get more shifts there. So it's like I was working 70 hours a week,
Mhm.
you know.
Mhm.
So it was like 7 days a week for 7 years straight to pay off my student loan debt
While you were in a relationship.
while I was married. Yep.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was like, okay, well, clearly I'm never home, and that's probably a reason.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Gotta,
Mhm.
hi honey, gotta go to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So I was very resourceful because I feel that was part of my upbringing for sure.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I feel like, yeah, like what you, gosh, I keep hitting the mic. Like what you said, and we know this, baggage blocks resources. And I think sometimes people forget how resourceful they are when you're very comfortable in the way that things have been. Even if it's not good,
Mhm.
it's familiar.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like we've all gotten resource. Like I didn't know where I was going to live. I was living with that person and I was just like, we got to break up. And within like 2 weeks, it was like, I'm living with my sister and this person. Like, things just happen when you're on your path What this reminds me of also is what it takes to, you've done this as well, like leave a corporate job and move into entrepreneurship, right? Like when you're
Yep.
used to receiving things in a certain way, in a certain model, and you're just like, well, no, this is how money comes in. And then you open up to this other, like I know you transition people in career as well. And so
Yes.
like teaching people how to get resourceful, it's such a skill that is it's needed in every transition, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's kind of like foundational pieces that can be applied to all phases of life, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why
Well,
I say design your wellness. Like it's as a wellness architect, like how do you want to design your wellness? And you can like everybody's I know wellness is such a like it used to have like a holistic, like well-rounded meaning, but now it's just kind of thrown out. So like everybody's has their own meaning of what wellness is, but for me, it's like living an optimal, vibrant life.
mm,
Mm,
Um, and literally like how do you want to live your life?
hmm
Like I know you two, you want a big life and you're willing to do anything in your power to have the big life. Other people might want small lives. Other
hmm
people, might want a cozy life, like whatever. It's like whatever it is, it's your wellness and you get to design it. It's
yeah.
um yeah, I don't know if I answered your question. Sorry.
Oh my God, that's so perfect. I completely forgot you also left corporate into entrepreneurship.
Oh
Like
yes.
you
Yes, yes,
you
sorry.
have you have handled some of
Mhm.
the biggest transitions that people ever go through.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like relationship, that changes family, like we're talking money, corporate to entrepreneurship. Both of these are all spiritual initiations. Like
yeah.
Yes.
this is just massive. Your capacity to one, hold yourself through these huge transitions, and then two, the way that you've been able to alchemize how you were able to do it and be able to guide others.
Yeah.
It's just truly magnificent.
Yeah. And as someone
Mm,
who's a
thank you.
bit, someone who's like, for me, I'm like very big thinker, like vision. It's nice to know that you're out there giving people like practical steps because that's and asking the right questions that they may need to know what to do next. Because, coaching's not about giving answers so much as like asking the question of like, do you think you can talk to this person? Like, you're like
Exactly.
first
Yeah.
question I would ask. So I just want to honor the work that you do and the life that you've lived to get all of this wisdom and knowledge and all the modalities. I saw when you came to work with me, I was like, oh, she's done some shit. So
Yes.
it takes a very courageous soul to be willing. You're like, I want something different and to do all of those things. And that's just something that makes you so special. I just want to reflect that to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, for architecture, when I was in architecture, my master's thesis was on creating a wellness architecture model so that the
Mm.
building actually worked you out. And that was my master's thesis. And I really wanted like a building that was actually healing. So I took like the worst possible scenario of a corporate headquarter building where you have to drive like in Chicago, no less. So it's like you have to drive hour and a half just to get there. So you're in your car, you're sitting in your ass for an hour and a half
Mm.
in traffic, either white knuckling it or swearing at the person that cut you off. Like, there's like this anxiety. And then you get to work and then you pull up into a parking lot and then you walk a little bit, and then you take an elevator up and then you sit at your desk for 8 hours in misery, and then you do it all and then you get back in your car and you drive back. It was just like that's like the worst possible day I could ever imagine. That sounds like horrific. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, that's the worst case scenario. So what would it look like in a wellness model?
Mm,
And so then my master's thesis was about that. So it was so much fun and I had an incredible time doing it. But and it was like I just kind of carried that dream with me for the 15 years that I was in the field, and it just never seemed to take off. And then when I had my like feminine awakening in Tulum a few
mhm.
years ago, and it just like changed my life, and I'm like, I think it's time to fly, and I'm done with architecture, and just packed my bag into one, or I packed up my apartment in like 3 weeks, and I went to the retreat with Marley Williams, and Lisette was there, and it was like, oh my God, this is like I was just lit up, and I'm like,
Yeah.
it's happening. It is
Yeah.
Mhm,
happening. And it's
mhm,
just like my dream, it's like designing a healing space for people. Like the building itself actually heals people
Mm.
on healing land.
Mm.
And you have a whole community of healers, like the top-notch healers that are in the space that's healing. And we all heal everyone that wants to grow, you know? And it's like, that's like my biggest dream. And I came to Puerto Vallarta because I was visiting my life coach here, and I was doing dog sitting. I watched your little girls. And I went to, and she's like, I don't have anybody to watch my dogs. Why don't you come to Mexico? And I'm like, okay. And she's like, why don't you go to PV and look for an apartment? I'm like, sure. And one thing led to another. I got off the bus, and it was just like middle of July, sweating bullets, and I got full body goosebumps, and I just felt this wave of energy. And it's like, you know, the music and the mural, beautiful artwork, and the smell of the lovely tacos. And it's like, what is this place? Like, I'm in love. I'm in love. And I just like, I feel such an energy here, and the culture and the healing modalities that are already, there's already like a massive healing. And so it's just, I'm just so grateful. And I'm just like cultivating those relationships to start working towards my dream. And, you know, building community is building community, networking with people, being resourceful, and just like having a vision or having like an aspiration that you want, like what really lights you up.
Yes.
And then just like going from that place. And then it's just like, you know, like, yes, there's fear. Yes, there's doubts. Yes, there's all the things, but it's like, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You know, like, what do you have to lose? Like, do you want to stay angry? Do you want to stay miserable? Do you want to stay like Netflix and chill and have a full pizza and a full tub of ice cream, guilty,
Just once
and then wonder why you feel like shit the next day? You know, right? It's just like, like, been there. How do you feel in your body? You know, it's just like vomit, you know, and just like tight and tension and like weight and just misery, and it just kind of like circling in this tornado of chaos. And it's just like, I don't want to do this anymore. And maybe, just maybe, there could be a better life for me. And then you go with that. And then it's like, the second you make that decision and that like declaration, something happens. And it's proof. Like, okay, you want it, you made the decision. Like, once it clicks in here, once it clicks in your heart, once it clicks in your body, and you like make the decision, boom, green light, green light, green light, green light, green light. And it's like the universe answers. And it's like there's signs everywhere if you look for them. And it's just like, oh, you know, you get chills. You're like, oh my God, someone's listening. And it's like, there's proof, and you could have a better life. And so that's just kind of what I've been going off of. And it's just like, you know, my divorce was in 2015. And here I am living in paradise, creating my dream, you know, and it's just like, and just being what I've always dreamed of and more. Like, I've never expected this. And I'm just so grateful for everyone that I met, and just taking a chance. And it's really just like, you know, what do you got to lose?
Yeah.
What do you got to lose?
Yeah. You know? This is just, I cannot agree with you more. Everything. I'm like, yes. Yes. Yeah, this has just been so powerful and so moving and so inspiring. And so if there's someone who's like in a transition in their life, someone who's feeling stuck and could use support, like, how can people find you, reach out to you, work with you if that's what calls to them?
Yes, that'd be wonderful. If you feel inspired, like, I would love to connect with anyone that feels my energy, my passion, like, just would love to connect in any way. So whatever is best for them. So I'm on social media, Amy Shep Wellness at Instagram. My website is wellnessdesignbyamy.com. And I do offer a connection call. And for any listeners on the podcast, you can use HF Podcast 26 for a special discount for that call. And I would love to connect with anyone that has is going through a struggle, or even just a small hurdle, like anything that they're having issues with and or fear around, would love to connect with them, because I've been through the mud, like you said. I've been through everything and I'm out on top, and it feels amazing. So grateful. Thank you so much, you two.
Yes. We will put the things in the show note, like book a call. Like, thank you so much for that generous offer and invitation. And as someone who has gotten to talk to Amy many times on the phone, it is a delight.
It's a delight.
It's a delight. She's just fucking hilarious. Yeah, that laugh. Oh my God. If you're very special, maybe you'll hear her sing at some point. Like, she is just truly an incredible, incredible human. So checking out her website, checking out her on Instagram, and schedule a call. Like, what do you got to lose?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Amy, for being here today. We love you so deeply.
Thank you.
And we know you're going to help so many people.
Thank you so much. I love you too.
Man, Amy is a real one. She went deep with us.
She really did.
Yeah, she shared the tea.
She did.
She went full.
Yeah.
Full, served that herbal tea.
Well, what I appreciate about her is her honesty and her vulnerability. And as someone, when I'm looking for people to guide me and support me on I'm like, have you seen some shit? Because I've seen some shit.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen some shit, then you're probably not the one for me. And so her really sharing her truth and like what she went through and the choices that she made, like, I was just like, all right, let me fuck with you.
That's one of the things I've always loved with her. From the moment I met her, she was like, I've overcome, having to leave a marriage. She shared like what she'd been through, how all the transformation she'd gone through. And I was like, wow, that is, there are some gifts that you forage yourself, and she has been through it. So I just love having her tell us her whole story.
Oh, this was absolutely incredible. So absolutely schedule a call with her, check out her links. She is just a delight, and so excited.
And if you have a question, give us a call at 971-895-4111, or you can DM us on Instagram at Honest Feedback Podcast.
All right, until we meet again, be honest with each other.
Yeah.